Hey guys, welcome to my tiny kitchen. So this is a video that I've been meaning to make for a really long time because it's probably the most requested video I've gotten in the past few months, and that is to do a tour of our tiny kitchen and show you guys everything that we have in here, all of the appliances that we have and the gadgets and where we store our food and all of that stuff. I've been putting off making this video for quite a while because I think I've just been like overthinking how I'm gonna do it, and I wanted the kitchen to be like perfectly clean and I wanted everything to just be perfect. But today I'm just going to film this video. Our kitchen is not perfectly clean, but I would say that 90% of the time it does look about this clean. So for some of you this might be a really clean kitchen, you might think that it's messy, but Derek and I like a clean kitchen. And it's probably the thing that we get frustrated with each other the most, is keeping the kitchen clean, because we're both like such foodies and we're always cooking and we're always just kind of making a mess in the kitchen, so it's never perfectly clean and there's usually always dishes or something in the sink. But I'm gonna show you guys what my kitchen looks like when it's perfect. I'm gonna show you what it looks like today. So one other thing that I actually want to say before I start the video is that my husband built our tiny house himself. I will link his channel below if you want to go check out the build of our tiny house. He literally vlogged himself building it every single day on YouTube, so I will leave the link to his channel below. And yeah, let's get on with the tour. So in our kitchen we obviously have a refrigerator. This is a full-size fridge, and the only thing that kind of sucks about it is that this very bottom drawer, it just won't open all the way because it's always hitting the wall here. So that's pretty much the only thing. But yeah, we do have a full-size fridge, and we're vegan, so we just have a lot of fruits and vegetables. That is the fridge. Alright, on top of our fridge we kind of use for storage of other fruits and vegetables. So we have just like sweet potato, potatoes, onion. This is a bag of tortillas. So we got stuff for burritos. This is a box of tea. We got a box of mandarin oranges, and then just some cereal and some granola. Alright, for our water filtration we use this mechanism right here, which is called a Berkey water filter. And for all my appliances and stuff, I'll leave links below because I know that you guys will want links for all this stuff. But basically we just fill this up. Actually, Derek is like the water guy, so he's constantly filling this thing up. We just fill it up, and then we try and keep this full, which is just a electric water kettle, and we have a water pitcher in the fridge that we try and keep full as well. All of the water that we use for cooking and drinking and anything to do with food, we make sure that it's filtered. I also have my Vitamix here. So I used to keep this with all my other appliances, but now I just keep it on the counter because I literally use it like every single day. And then up here on this shelf is where we kind of store all of our excess pantry stuff. So we have like beans and extra things that don't fit in the shelves. We have all of our hot sauce because we're hot sauce freaks. And then we have like our bowls and our dishes and all that kind of stuff as well. People ask me every day where I got all these white dishes. Random places. I got some at Target, got some at the Goodwill. I got these big ones at Pier 1 Imports like a long time ago. So yeah, we just really like having things be like white and clean. So yeah, that's the story with that. We also have our cuckoo rice cooker, which we use basically every single day because we eat rice 24/7. And then we have a knife rack. I can link below where I got all my knives and stuff as well. But these are just like Japanese knives. They're really nice. They stay sharp for a long time. I'm trying to see how to show you guys like the actual kitchen here. Okay, so for the kitchen, we have 4 of these big drawers. And then this down here is where we keep our appliances. So we had our kitchen basically custom made at IKEA. We decided how many drawers we wanted, how we wanted everything laid out, and then we just bought the appropriate pieces and we got our countertops installed. Our sink is from IKEA. Everything is from IKEA. So when we were building our tiny house, this was actually the most expensive part of our entire house, was the kitchen. But since my husband and I are vegan, we're very obsessed with food. We love cooking, we love eating, we love everything to do with food. It was totally worth it to spend a lot of money on the kitchen to get exactly what we wanted. So living in a tiny house, all of our appliances are electric. We don't have any propane or anything like that. We're totally off the grid. So we have a rice cooker, we have a Vitamix, we have an Instant Pot, we have an air fryer, food processor, and then the most important appliance that we own is our popcorn maker, which we also use every single day. Yeah, these are all the appliances that we own. We don't have an oven or anything like that. We are going to be building an earth oven in the future, but that's not gonna be for a while. And all of these things work completely fine for our cooking needs. So we don't find that like there's anything that we can't cook. We also have an induction cooktop, which I'll show you in a second. So all of our appliances fit down here except for our rice cooker, our electric kettle, and our Vitamix, which our Vitamix does fit down there, but I just like to keep it on the counter, like I said, because I use it every day. So we keep our induction cooktop down here in this drawer, but we keep it down here in this drawer. We have 3 different size pans. So we just have a normal quart pan, saucepan for making soups or stews or whatever. We have a grill pan, and then we have a bigger pan, which the other day we were actually craving pizza and we were trying to figure out how to cook it. And I literally just cooked frozen vegan pizza in this pan with the lid on, and it worked perfectly. It was like, honestly, the best pizza that I've ever made. All right, so like I said, we had all this custom made, so I really thought about all of the things that I had before we moved into this tiny house and where I was gonna put them all. In these big drawers, these are like basically our pantry. So what we have in here is just things that don't fit like in mason jars. So we got some noodles, we've got some canned like beans and coconut milk, some marinara sauce, plant milks, popcorn, noodles, and then just like tea and gravy and things like that. Down in this drawer, this is kind of like my junk drawer. But basically it's just all the things that I don't really use every single day. They're more like cooking things, so I've got my measuring stuff in here. Got extra little bowls, citrus juicer, a spiralizer, my hand blender. I've got a food scale for measuring things. I have a little steamer, and then just some like extra water bottles and Tupperware and knife sharpener. One of the things, actually, people ask me all the time about my knives, like I said, and it's not really about the knife that you buy, it is keeping your knives sharp. Buying a good knife is only gonna get you so far, because sooner or later that knife is gonna go dull. It's like buying a really expensive road bike and never pumping up the tires. Like, you have to maintain it. So I know a lot of people don't sharpen their knives, and they're like, oh, your knives look so great, Hannah. They're always like cutting everything perfectly. It's because I sharpen them like every 2 weeks. So get yourself a knife sharpener if you don't have one. So the last drawer here is just an extra pantry drawer, which we basically just have the things that fit, that go in mason jars. So every week I actually go through here and make a list to go to Sprouts and restock all of this stuff. So we've just got like muesli and beans and mulberries and some different nuts. And then we have extra food storage stuff in here as well. So on this side of the kitchen, we have drawers on each side. These are just like our little drawers where we have our silverware. This one we've just got some towels for cleaning. Here we've got like a junk drawer, which I keep all these little silica things because they're actually really good. Like, say you ever get your phone wet or something happens where you really need to dry something out, I keep all these little silica things. And then down here This is just like extra spices and things like that. So it's just all like tamari and maple syrup and apple cider vinegar and extra ketchup and all that kind of stuff. We do have a compost bin outside, and we compost all of our fruits and vegetables and like paper and all that kind of stuff. We just keep it down here, and we basically just use a compost bag so that we don't have to, so that we can just throw the bag in the compost, and this will actually compost as well. Down here we also have fire extinguisher. This is our garbage, rice, and then just like cleaners and stuff. Not a very interesting part. But then on this side I have all of my spices. I've got like all of my little cooking gadgets, things like that, lemon juicer, spatula, strainer. And then here I just have some like freezer bags and parchment paper and stuff like that. And then this is also like another junk drawer. But in here we just kind of keep things that don't really fit anywhere else. So we've got some pancakes, our Cocoa Jack, flour, things that I don't really use like every single day. We've got some extra peppercorns and hibiscus tea. So yeah, that's basically our kitchen. There's not really much more to it, I don't think. I don't think I'm missing anything. We didn't really have to downsize like when we moved from our apartment to our kitchen now, and it's better laid out because we actually designed it ourselves. Like I said, got everything custom made to basically fit all of our appliances and all the stuff that we had. And these shelves actually come in really handy as well, just for putting like dishes and things on them. So definitely vertical storage I think is important in a tiny house, and just using like all the space that you have, but also just minimizing, you know, your appliances, your silverware. We're not like super minimalist, so I would say a true minimalist would have literally like 2 spoons, 2 forks, 2 plates, 2 bowls, just what they need, right? We have a lot of stuff, like I don't even know where all these spoons came from, but they're literally all different. And actually when Derek and I moved from Minnesota to Arizona, we were like true minimalists, where we just had exactly what we needed and nothing more. But I feel like over time we just accumulate things, and maybe it's time for me to go back to the Goodwill and kind of get rid of stuff. But we don't find that there's anything that we are missing in our tiny house. We don't miss like having an oven. I feel like an oven would just take up so much space. It would heat up the whole house very quickly because it's so big. And you can easily just put an oven outside, especially if you're staying somewhere, if you're putting your tiny house on a property. But yeah, if you guys want to, you know, build a tiny house or have a tiny house in the future, or just even be more minimal with the things that you have, you can put a lot in a small space like this. And I feel like we have a lot of stuff, but it is because I am obviously like a food blogger. That's my job. And we just have a lot more plates and bowls and things, you know, than we really need. But most of that is just for like plating stuff and taking photos and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kitchen tour. Sorry it wasn't like super fancy and like, you know, great filming and editing and all that kind of stuff, but that's our kitchen. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.